Under... Why does it do this every time? Hi, welcome to Command Protocols. Do you
Good
know what I
job.
was about to do? At work, I have to hold a tablet and I have to go, hi, welcome to Evan's House Show. And I was about to do that, but clearly
Well,
saved it.
I'm glad
Hi,
you
welcome
did.
to Command Protocols podcast. This is the most professional podcast on YouTube. We talk about Necrons and all things still Necrons, because I said that word twice.
Yep,
Amazing.
we do.
I'm Matt. This is my co-host.
Hi.
You meant to say Andy, but it's fine. We'll do that next time.
We can work on that one.
We'll work on that one. We're only like 7 episodes deep now.
7.
Yeah, this is number 7. So today we're going to be talking about the usual lists, because that's the best thing to talk about. How we're doing in the meta, what we've been doing in the last week, practice wise, and etc. And up and coming tournaments. I'm going to Pyra, not to play, unfortunately, but I am coaching. I'm coaching with the England lads, so I've been helping them practice a lot. Various Necron lists and such.
Why don't you tell everybody what Pyra is, man, just for the people that don't
Oh
know?
yeah. Okay, so if you don't know what Pyra is, it's a big 8-man teams tournament that's held somewhere in Poland. All I know is that I have to fly to Germany and drive to Poland for the first time, driving on the other side of the road. But yeah, it's a big 8-man teams tournament, and for anyone that's done 5-man teams tournaments, it's like a whole other ball game. It is really interesting seeing it for the first couple of times myself recently. So yeah, I mean, what have you been up to in the last week?
I had a little RTT, did a bit of work, slept, basically. Yeah, not a great deal. I've played a few games on GTS, try out a few new things, but yeah,
Nice. What have you been trying out?
much interesting. I've tried Tesseract Vault, of course, in Star Shatter.
Nice.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
not pay no attention to the tier list that we made.
Yes, and pay no attention to the detachment that says ignore Titanic and everything, because Titanic's still good.
And it turns out that Tesseract Vaults will continue to be good, especially on UKTC.
Yes, so a bit more practice might be needed before I can convince myself to take a non-hyper Tesseract Vault to Manchester, but I have Sunday for that coming up this week.
Nice. I've been just practicing loads of Awakened. I had a game with the old hyper thick list, the Vault, 2 DDAs, Silent King. And I was inspired because Josh, who is one of the lads that's localish to around us, he was playing it at the RTT I went to last. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to just play it in a couple of test games on WTC, and it was a lot of fun. Still pretty good. It's just really hard to deploy with the
Yes.
6-inch deep strike. It's very difficult, but you can just move it around. And I was playing on WTC terrain, so I still had the ability to move around as normal.
Yeah. I
Yes.
played one game with Hyper on WTC, and I managed to get it in the middle after 5 turns of, well, if I just move a little bit and do this infinite amount of pivots, I can get around this bit of terrain for 3 or 4 inches of movement, and then I can do it again the next turn, and hopefully it'll
Yeah, you get there eventually, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
But
I've also been playing an absolute shit ton of Awakened. I've been testing all sorts of different combinations and units and stuff like that fit my style. And I finally settled on a list, which is what we're going to run through today. And it's going to be the list I'm going to take to Manchester. Even though I play predominantly on WTC now, it's still good for UKTC. So I'll run through it all and all the choices I
now,
made.
are you actually going to take it to Manchester? Because I do remember us building a list a while ago, which you said you would take to an RTT, and then you changed your mind. So,
And it was all for the greater good.
yes, yeah, it works out well, obviously.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a good thing that we changed it. And sometimes you got to admit when you can make better choices. So we did a good job of that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, fucking sorted. So, do we want to jump straight into the lists for
yeah,
this weekend?
we can do.
Nice. All right. This is the first
It
list,
was a very quiet
and
weekend, and Necrons didn't do particularly well, did we, as a whole?
no, it was extremely quiet for tournaments in general. I think this time of year is just really quiet, isn't it? January, February
Um,
for the most part. I mean, you've got like the couple of big tournaments, and then everybody's just chilling out.
yeah, but tournaments in general are a lot more popular, so it might just be a scheduling thing. A lot of the big tournaments are set
Yeah.
in stone a long time before, and somebody might not realize they might want to put a tournament on in a weekend, and
hmm
they'll get around to doing it. So,
So this was the first list by Matthew Buck, who went 4-1. But I believe this was a small tournament. I think this was a 20-person tournament. I could
so
be mistaken.
look, look.
20 odd people, I think.
26 players.
Yeah, so it was a small GT.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he went 4-1 with Awakened, because Awakened are good.
came
He played Tyranids, Dark Angels, Demons, Guard, and Dark Angels again.
yeah.
So what did he have in the list, Andy?
Well, Awakened Dynasty with the Nightbringer and a Transcendent Catan, Hexmark, Plasmancer, Scorpecula, Technomancer, so plenty of characters. A
Yeah.
big blob of Immortals with the Plasmancer, race with the Technomancer, and then only a three squad of Scorpex.
But
Um,
he had Locust Heavies with triple Gauss.
Triple gas, so that they don't need the Lord. You
Yeah, two Tomb Blades and
know,
no
one
Feel No
DDA.
Pain on the Scorpeth Lord.
Yeah, one DDA, one Wraith, one Scarabs, one Flayed Ones. So
Was it a
yeah,
Highlander event?
no, because he's got two blades.
Oh, I was like, has he bloody played a Highlander event? But he's just gone for Yes, I Own It.
Yeah,
This is the Yes, I Own It build.
exactly. It's I've
Okay,
got
I
one
own
of
it. That's
these. I
it.
don't want to buy any more. Let's put it in.
Sometimes it is very difficult for people to deal with Catan. It's not common enough, and I can
Yeah,
see Dark Angels like struggling with it quite a bit.
yeah. They hate Catans because they're two
Yeah,
damage weapons. I mean, they do have the anti-monster keyword, but
but it's just one damage. It's just still
yeah, exactly.
one damage each. They hate it. Yeah, he's done well. I honestly, after testing the Scorpeth Lords with the Feel No Pain, I just can't imagine not playing it.
Yeah,
And or like no Illuminor Zeraz as well, who is also disgustingly good in this attachment.
in this attachment, yeah, you're
Yeah,
getting two Illuminated Zeros in your list basically,
it
unless
is
you make it
so good.
boo boo.
Honestly, it just changes the game because they can't deal with that kind of damage sometimes in one go. There's a lone op as well,
Yeah, yeah.
especially if you got the Immortals. I would have thought that it would have been quite a good choice.
But
But
they might not own it. You
yeah,
never know.
that's completely fair. He's done well. He's gone 4-1 for sure. I think in the right hands, you can probably make a list with a lot of different things and
Yeah.
do well.
I mean, none of the units he's taken are particularly bad.
No, not at all. Well,
Obviously, we're down on the Transcendent Catan a little bit because he can't advance an action like he used to be able to. So
yeah,
turn one, he can't just go, well, I'm going first. Oh, I'll just go over there and do a cleanse. Um,
that was nice.
so that was really nice. And the fact that they've taken that away is kind of sad, really, because it was part of his appeal, apart from just being a tanky as hell
And
Catan.
having a 4-up Feel No Pain.
Well, 4 up back then was really nice, but I'm glad that they took it away from him because it meant that other units become viable with that Feel No Pain, like the Scorpet Lord or the Command Barge.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus, he got a 5 up as well to replace it, so it wasn't huge. Let's be
Yeah, it's
honest.
not the end of the world. All
Because
right,
before he
well,
did
we'll
that,
jump to the next one then, straight in.
yeah,
This one was Jordan Knack, I believe. So on BCP, it said that he had 4 wins and a loss. So I don't know if he had a bye
yeah,
uh,
that could be it.
by chance, but here it's 3 wins and a loss. He was playing Awakened as well, but it's alternate Awakened apparently. So I'll have a little run through this. So he's got Catacomb Command Barge, but that's got the Fiona Pain.
Yeah,
He's got a Nightbringer as well. Everyone's loving these single Catans. And then he's got triple Technomancer and Silent King, the boy.
yep. the king.
arguably one of his worst attachments to be in. Probably Canoptic Court is his worst, but this is. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's just
Annihilation
slow.
Legion.
Yeah, that's not real. Yeah,
Don't forget, in this attachment, he does benefit from some of the strats, so he can
that's what
get,
I mean. Yeah,
get assault. If you kill one of his Minears, he can actually reanimate it.
true, very true.
He can
Yeah.
also can he shoot back if
I can't remember exactly how that strat works because I
I
refuse
think
to use it.
a character unit. I think it's 2 CP, but I believe it's a character unit can
Yeah, I can
shoot
shoot
back
back.
if something died within 6 of it. When like in terms of actual models that can shoot back, the Silent King is a pretty chunky one to
He
shoot.
is pretty good.
I'm
And
gonna
then
double
Reanimator, because obviously it makes sense.
yeah.
Triple Wraith, Deathmark's Locust Destroyer. It's just a stat check. Can
Triple
you,
rates, yeah.
can you deal with 18 Wraiths kind of thing? And I can completely see like him easily winning these 3 games. But Demons, if this was Slanesh, I wonder if I can quickly check.
You can, yeah, just click on it, it'll tell you what the list was.
I'll load it in the side. It was Scintillating Legion.
I do find it interesting that you would run this list
It was Zinch.
in
It was
Awakened
a,
Dynasty and not Canoptic Court, because surely the rates are going to gain so much more from that
I don't
detachment.
know. Hitting on, I know they get the re-rolls, but hitting on 3s, strength 7, AP 2, damage 2.
Well, hitting on 4s re-rolling is 75%, and hitting on 3s is 66%. And if you add the re-roll 1s, you get to like low 70s. So they have more damage output in Canoptic Court, but then they also get +1 strength, +1 AP.
But then the barge as well, they're all going to be OC 3 each. You can resorb. Seems all
Yeah.
right.
I mean, it's not a bad detachment for race. It's just if you're going to go that heavy in race, then why not?
Yeah, a nice little change for this list. I'd probably like drop the Nightbringer and add Thralls and then some other bits, whatever you want to
That
add.
makes your 3 units a lot more tanky.
Yeah.
I will also probably run a second reanimator to go alongside the race, but then also where's Serraz? Where's this Feel No Pain Lord? Like I know he's got
Yeah,
a command
yeah.
barge, but you don't quite get as much value from him from that. Like the damage output in this list, apart from the Nightbringer and the King, is very low.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you run into like Eldar, Harlequins, Guard, okay, you're going to be okay because Wraiths have a lot of damage against those because they're so weak and easy to kill. But
He
if
might have just been playing to his local meta, potentially. Just
yeah,
realizing that what people play can't deal with that kind of stuff. And again, he lost to Scintillating Legion, so it's a more shooty, double Soul Grinder, double Lord of Change and Fate Weaver. So I can imagine it really struggles into lots of big things.
I mean, if you get rid of the Nightbringer or the King or keep them out of position, and then you stick Fate Weaver in the middle of his army, there's no way he's killing Fate Weaver
We can
with
do that like daisy chain thing where you chain a unit and then have the Lord of Change, I think it is,
yeah,
near that unit, and then that Lord of Change can shoot through that unit all the way to the
yeah.
end, which is obviously really good.
But
Um,
Awakened Dynasty is heavy on the strats, and having a Vect on literally every unit you want to use a strat on is going to be very painful.
yeah,
So
really strong.
yeah,
So yeah, nice list.
different.
Nice to see. Very different, right? So we're on to Sergey. I want to say
Sergey, yes, name.
Sergey something Psychomancer. uh, he also went. He went 3-1-1. Orcs win. Care Space Marine Sisters. People are still playing Sisters. Let's go.
Yeah.
It lost to Imperial Knights, and he had. To be fair, he had a
Yeah, a lot of anti-tank.
pretty good anti-tank.
Can you remember that list a few weeks ago that had no anti-tank but beat Knights 3 times? This
Yeah,
is like the opposite on the coin of that list. Has anti-tank but doesn't beat
yes, he was playing
Knights.
Hypercrypt, Silent King, Royal Warden. Royal Warden's got the Dimensional Overseer, so he's just using it as a cheaper caddy, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Double Necron Warriors. That's what we
Yeah.
fucking like. Double Death Marks, Flayed ones. double Locust Destroyer, single, 1 heavy, 2 Doomsday Arcs, and Monolith, 2 Ghost Arcs. This is a fun list. Apart from, I know I rant and rave about Necron Warriors and Ghost Arcs, but I just don't see the point of it in this, as you're not gaining much from it. I
No,
guess you get the mobility, but
but do
like
you?
why? Like what?
Do you
Yeah,
pull?
you're not pulling it, are you? Really? I don't know.
I mean, if you pull in the Ghost Arc and they're near the objective, 6 inches you can't guarantee getting on, so then you're just moving normally. At which point you're better off in Star Shatter.
Yeah, Star Shatter or Awakened.
Because at
But
least you also get a bit of benefit from the detachment. This one, the Ghost Arc, the Warriors, they gain nothing from it,
let's have
apart
a
from
look
the
at
up
what
and down.
Imperial Knight list he lost to. Oh, good lord. I'm not surprised he lost. 5 Helvrins. No, 6 Helvrins. What? Oh, no, it is 5. 5 Helvrins,
Yeah.
5 Warglaves,
I
and
mean, to
Canids.
be fair to him, apart from the Doomsday Arcs, the Monolith, the Ghost Arcs, the single destroyers, he doesn't have anything else that flies.
Apart from everything. Apart from everything in his army.
Yeah.
The Silent King. He should have just walked the Silent King out.
Yeah, he doesn't have fly. But then Canis Rex just looks
Yeah,
like
Canis Rex just
swaps.
and then he just gets 5 up feel no pain for the rest of the game when Silent King dies.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
But the Helvrins are still only AP1, right?
Yeah, well, you've got a strat to increase the AP and damage as well. So you make them AP2 damage 4. They're
Yeah.
crazy good in it.
Yeah. Well, that is the
But he did well to go 3-1 and 1. It's nice to see Hypercrypt again, even
Yes.
with the 6-inch deep strike. He's got some tricks. I'm not completely certain. I'm assuming he's well. I don't know where that's gone. Let's just jump to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is Christian, a normal name I can pronounce. He's playing Star Shatter. He went 3-1 and 1 as well. Submarined, lost to Tyranids, beat Guard. Let's see what kind of guard he beat. And do you want to just run through the list while I have a little look?
Yeah. He's got the Locust Lord with Ignores Cover and 3 Amnitics. Just checking that one, yeah. He's got an Overlord with the -1 damage. I think the Overlord is just running with 5 Lich Guard, it seems. So just run him up in the centre, keep him alongside your Silent King. 2 Scorpet Lords, Silent King, Spider, some Doomsday, some Flayed Ones, 3 squads of Flayed Ones.
Ooh,
Fellow Destroyers, Lich Guard, Ophidians, and then the 2 Scorpex. So just 2 Doomsday Arcs, no Reanimator, but using the Overlord, probably just like sitting alongside the Silent King with the Spiders to run up the board.
Yeah, with the Lich Guard, right?
Yeah.
Little trading unit. It's I thought he would have put the enhancement on the Scorpeth Lord, to be honest. But
The thing is, though, with the Scorpio Lords, they move quicker and they can run around the flanks a bit easier, whereas the Lich Guard, they move a bit slower, so you kind of want to just put them up near the centre in your deployment and kind of waddle them forwards. And
yeah,
the Overlord himself with the -1 damage, once the Lich Guard dies, he's still reasonably tanky, so he'll survive an extra turn to protect the Silent King, maybe. But
yeah, and I think Ophidians actually aren't that bad.
oh well, I've changed my mind again on them.
You think they're bad?
Well,
Again?
yeah, we'll go through that in a bit, I guess.
Oh yeah, I think that
I've played them a
they
lot.
have a place if you don't. We always play a lot of secondary stuff in our lists. Like we have a lot,
Yeah.
and now that I'm playing Awaken with very few secondary play. I mean, I do because I've obviously got the solar characters and all that. But at the same time, just having the Ophidians there would sometimes be nice. If I had 5 points, I'd potentially swap a Hex Mark for Ophidians, just because they double up as backfield holders. And,
Yeah, but
and that, but it's fair.
I've played a few games with them, and they just never performed well for me. So I always picked them up. Sometimes when I was playing them in a Hypercrypt, I'd pick them up and use them as a rapid ingress threat. because if I pick them up with their detachment ability rather than their ability, they can stay in reserves. But they weren't that much of a threat when they came down. The 15 attacks hitting on threes at 4-2-2. Like, they don't threaten much. And I found that the things. So, my opponent's screening because I've had crypt, or they're screening because they know I've got this rapid ingress there. I can deal with the things that they're at the front lines anyway. They're just easy to kill. So they never really threatened. And when they did want to get into something, they just didn't kill it. They just died. It's like, well, fantastic. And then, scoring the secondaries, maybe it was just bad luck with the way the cards ran out. But early on, my opponents were always screening the backfield, so they never really had an opportunity to get in. And then later on, they would either got in trouble and died, or I needed them to hold an objective, or they were doing like a sabotage, so they couldn't go up in the skies. So yeah, and then whenever they connected with anything, they just like, oh look, there's a 4-wound transport here. Well, this guy's got 15 attacks. Oh wait, they're wounding on 6s. Now they're just not going to kill anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're all right.
I wanted to use them as a counterpunch unit, something that could get into melee after I've been tagged necessarily with my big things, but they can't clear anything out because they don't have any keywords. There's no inbuilt rerolls. Their strength is low. They're just not as good as they look on paper. I think I'll keep trying them, but I've gone down on them again. I'd rather have the Scorpex, I think.
Nice. Well, let's jump to our last list of the weekend.
It's not the last list of the weekend. There will be more.
It's the last list of the weekend, and then we've got Pyra after that. The Pyra list. So that's this weekend.
Well, this is the last hurrah.
It's the last hurrah. So I don't know if he was playing with old strats, but or he's not changed the name since, but it's still, or maybe he's just fully given up like me. So he went 4-1, lost only to Space Marines, and his list is Star Shatter with a command barge with no enhancement.
No enhancement.
Which is just a bit weird. The Hexmark with a -1 damage, Imatech for +1 CP, Technomancer, Silent King, Reanimator Spider Wraiths, DDA, Flayed Ones Ophidians, Tomb Blades, Scorpefs, Triarch Stalker.
Yeah.
It is just a very standard looking build at this stage.
I do find it weird that the command barge is there without the enhancement. Now, I get it. I've been saying for a while, if you're in the Wraith package, you probably want the command barge there for the Resor, and the extra OC is always good. But he hasn't even got the Crypto Thralls, which I would put in before the command barge for a start. Because those extra 6 wounds are better than having a Resor for D6.
It's funny because this is pretty close to the list that they've taken at Pyra. It's like these 3 units at the bottom, I think, are different. Yeah, but it's a very standard looking list nowadays. This is about what you see with Star Shatter. It's not too far off the mark.
Yeah.
And the list he lost to was Blood Angels, Bloodless Angels, I'm assuming, which I think is just a bad matchup. Yeah, it was Bloodless Angels, Double Vindicator, Ballistus. Yeah, so it's just a quite difficult matchup. Yeah, it's solid standard list that we see. Probably a couple of little differences, like the enhancement missing. But yeah, it's
like
completely standard.
One squad of Scorpex, but no Lord. They really help. Like that 80-point Lord is better than 90 points of Scorpex, and then I think together 170 points is better than like any other combination of the two put together. So
yeah, well, we'll have a look now at one of the lists, Pyra, and we'll do a bit of a deeper dive into Pyra as a whole.
Well, do you want to take a look at Meta Monday first?
Yeah, we can do that.
See how we did as a whole.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
not great this week. Having been on top for 2 weeks in a row,
we're now back down in the
in the
in
doldrums of the centre.
nice solid 50% win rate.
Yeah. And the telling thing is how low we have become in terms of popularity. We were like the most popular army for quite a while, and now we're definitely middle of the pack, if not below that.
Yeah,
When you look at the amount of, it was a very quiet week, but if you look at the amount of players in the other factions, a lot of them have a similar or higher player count than we are, which means that not as many people are playing Necrons anymore. Why do you think that is?
after Christmas, everyone dusted off their Necrons with a brand new broken detachment, and as soon as they don't think it's absolutely busted, they just hopped straight back off it because they've probably just not achieved the scores they wanted to, or they just don't think that it is that strong. But Necrons are still really good.
Yeah, we've gone from like 75-85% Star Shatter to Star Shatter being the same as Awakened and Hypercrypt, at least this week, although it has been small numbers of players.
Yeah, Hypercrypt had an unfortunate run this week, but again, it is probably one of the harder ones. Awakened is just good into the meta at the moment. Awakened just has so many answers for the top of the meta, and they're so good at blunting those big lists because they just at the moment a lot of the meta just does damage in one turn really efficiently, or one phase, I should say, really efficiently, or they do damage in one go to big elite units. So that's why I've shifted away from the wraiths myself, and gone with Necron warriors, big 20-man brick, which I'll run through in a bit. But yeah, I think that's why Awaken's so good because they're just very durable. They force your opponent to overcommit, and they are phase locked, like the characters coming back. So it just really helps, and it's still got good damage and good combat damage, which is good into Slanesh. So
Yeah,
that's my take on Awakened being so high compared to the others. Somebody's still playing Annihilation Legion. Somebody is still enjoying a Blood Surge with no combat.
yeah.
I can't until they change that. I can't get behind it as
I,
a,
I
as a detachment.
I think there is at least one person every week who lost a bet and has to play Annihilation Legion. And
Like
this
it
week it
would be
was this
so
one guy.
cool if they had a proper Blood Surge. Why are we the only detachment, only rule in the entire book, in the entire game that has a Blood Surge and can't end in combat? Like, what does that even? We're not even that good in combat. Like, what? I don't understand. And why is it a destroyer cult army that is based around combat only, and
Yeah,
half of our buffs only go off if they're below half strength? Like, what does that even mean?
yeah.
Like,
It's
do you know how excited I get when I get to use the flayed one sustained ability? Apart from, I get that kind of excited just to get +1 to charge or whatever the fuck it is. It pisses me off.
it's a really badly designed attachment in that none of the actual parts work with each other. And
It's
uh,
so close to being good.
even if they
It's
had the
so
blood
close.
surge, though, you still look at you write a list and you think, well, actually, this is better than Star Shatter because the mounted will get more help and the melee will be hitting on twos. And you got the reactive moves, so they can move through walls. So, and then you look at Awakened and you think, well, I've got the veil for my big amnitics. You know, I can give my heavies +1 to hit while they move, and
It
then
would just
you
be
know
so good with like barely any changes would make it
still.
really good. I think it would be good. Like the no fallback is very strong, and also the if you could, I know this might make it too broken, but it's got a stratagem where if your opponent falls back, you can move d6 inches. If you could either move d6 inches in any direction,
Yeah,
or you could move d6 inches and end in combat, but you have to move d6 inches as close as possible, and you're not allowed to end in combat. So why is that good?
but the problem is a lot of the armies that you get into combat with, they just kill you anyway
Well,
in
I think it's
combat
more
because
teams
Warpath destroyers
focused.
aren't particularly good at getting hit because
I
they
just think
have.
it's most. I think it's just team focused because it's the same as I know 8 bound exalted 8 bound are a little tankier, but if exalted 8 bound can lock something important in combat, but they have the tools to be able to like get into combat,
Yeah, but
where we don't have advance and charge. I'm pretty sure.
it's not
Even
just
in
that
that.
they're a bit tankier; it's also the fact that they can be that they kill what they get in combat with, whereas we don't necessarily. You know,
Yeah.
so
Our best stratagem in the detachment is -1 to be hit.
yeah, but
The,
it's only -1 to be hit though. It's not -1 to be hit, and then if you fail initiative, you can't shoot me at all.
yeah,
It's not that,
yeah.
right? I was just checking.
No, we don't get good stuff in that detachment. But so, like, I think it's worth looking at. Better in teams, but it's just I just can't make the argument that it's better to play than
It's a
the
detachment you
others.
play if you lose a bet, or you're playing against somebody and you just want to have a bit of fun. It's not a detachment you want to take and try and win a big tournament with, because it's just the power just isn't there. It's really not.
I feel like there must be something, but I mean I've seen people play it to a decent level. I just can't. If singles, it's just not the home for singles.
No.
And
But then,
against stuff like Eldar and stuff, we'd lose
okay,
that
so
game.
in teams, what good matchups does it have? I'm putting you on the spot right
I
now.
don't know. I'm just
I don't think it does.
shooting.
Kills it because there's no involved. Everything's just got a 3 up
Well, I
save.
mean, it's just the fallback, I think, and it does decent damage when it comes in, but it's just hard to get it in the right place because I've seen Josie's list was with the deceiver. You pull 3 things into reserves. You already have something in reserves, so you just like rapid ingress, or you use a lot of the normal locust bricks, which are like AP3 at the closest target, and they do a decent, and they're used to get them below half, and you kind of just stage behind walls with threat, and then that's enough as far as I'm aware.
I don't think I don't think you're going 5-0 at a GT with that.
No, I don't think it's good for singles. That's what I'm saying.
But even at a teams tournament, I don't think you've got a good enough matchups that you can
I
get
just don't know
5
enough
good
about it. I
matchups.
want to. I want to test my hand at it, but I just don't think I'll enjoy it.
I
I think
mean, yeah,
I played one game as it, and I was sick to death of the inability to reactive move in a way that I wanted to.
yeah. I mean, you're just basically playing your army without a lot of rules that help you.
Yunari gets a reactive move any unit in their fucking army if something gets shot, it can reactive move, and then if one unit gets killed,
Yeah,
any unit can move at the end of the shooting
Harlequins
phase.
can charge you in your charge phase.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Eldar have got the tits. Like their book is so good, and we did get a good book. Don't get me wrong, but they,
yeah.
they just made the destroyers are my favorite thing about Necrons, and they just missed so hard. Why can't we get like 9th edition destroyers where they're strength 10 AP4 or whatever it was?
Damage 3. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
so good. Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
And
that's enough
I
of
do
that.
kind of miss that. Anyway, yes. Let's
Yeah,
stop
we've
complaining.
rambled on long enough at our dislike of that, and
But
I'm sure you
basically,
guys get the point.
we're less popular than before. Do you think that's because people jumped to it to try the Star Shatter, decided that it maybe wasn't quite as good as they thought, and have gone to other things? Do you think it's the meta has shifted around us too much that we can't find builds that are good into everything? There's always going to be a couple of really bad matchups,
I think
or
that
just that people try everything else.
we have the ability to do really well in the right hands. I think that people were just jumping on Star Shatter because it was immediately thought of how broken it was. And we know this for a fact where people thought it was so broken because it got hotfix nerfed, and it's the only thing that's been hotfix nerfed. There
Yeah,
are several other detachments from
probably.
Christmas, like Tactical Orcs, Bridgehead, Legions of
Legion.
Excess. These are all extremely good detachments, and none of them have been touched, even a
Yes.
tiny bit. But we got in because the community was just like, "This is outrageous." They've gotten everything good, and then we went to Nottingham, and we had no nerfs, and I was the only person that went undefeated, and we had a handful of 4-1s. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that Necrons is a people give Necrons a hard time, but it is a hard detachment to learn, a hard army to learn, and it's not as easy as just turning up to the table and you'll win every game.
To be fair to us though as well, if you look at a lot of the big UKTC tournaments, there's always quite a few 4-1 Necron players because there's quite a few solid Necron players who go to a lot of these events.
Exactly. So it's the solid ones that stick with the detachment that do well more often. But a lot of the Necron players that have just jumped, or people that don't even play Necrons that often, I see so many people that I know don't play Necrons very often, and I see them there playing Necrons, and they're just like 2-3, 3-2, because they just don't know the army well enough.
Hey, don't be beating up on the 3-2 people.
I was not. I'm looking at you
I'm one of
directly,
them.
but you did happen to be one of them this
I
time.
did, yes.
But yeah, it's. I mean, this is. I'm not jabbing at anyone at all. All I'm saying is that people have not given Necrons a enough chance. I think people have just kind of given up with them because they're like, well, this is just shit now. Like this detachment's not as good. Where it is. It is good,
I
and
think we'll
Necrons
say,
are still good, and we can still play
yeah,
anything.
a lot of people will have left Necrons because they'll have seen that Chaos Demons are doing really well, Bridgehead cards doing really well, and then obviously you've got Eldar coming out. So I think, and a lot of people will have Eldar, especially from the start of the edition. So a lot of people will be flipping back to Eldar as well.
Yeah.
They'll be playing less Necrons in general just to try that out. And
Like even I
yeah,
played bloody Grey Knights at the next tournament, and it wasn't because I was sick of Star Shatter or anything, but I just wanted to take a little bit of a break, and now I'm just really enjoying Awakened. It's nice, it's refreshing, you know.
Even I'm betraying Necrons a little bit because I have my second ever game of Demons soon. It's a
Oh,
great
for one
night.
of the scrims, one
Yes,
of the England scrims.
yes.
So yeah, we're enjoying it a lot.
But
You
yeah,
know, stuff's changing.
we're still good. I don't think this week has been particularly.
It's just been a quiet week.
Yeah,
Stick
just
with it, guys.
quiet.
Like honestly, it pays off to know what you're doing with
Yes.
Necrons.
So let's talk about Pyra, which is the eight.
Yeah.
Is it eight teams? I think 8 teams.
So yeah, well, I'll do a little rundown. It's 8 teams of 8 players each. There's 2 Poland teams, and this is obviously basically a practice event for pre-WTC. So it's going to be a lot of teams that have a couple of returning members from last year's WTC, and it's going to have, and then those teams are going to have also new members that are going to be trying out for each respective country. There's 2 Poland teams, A and B. There's a German team, a French team, England, of course, Netherlands, and Sweden.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I mentioned everyone. And yeah, the spread is pretty good. I've got a little document here, I believe. If I've not clicked it, let me show you this one instead. So this is a document with all of the teams and what each player is playing, and this just happens to be each list as well that they've got. So it's not a graph, but it's a nice spread. I'll just quickly run through them all, as it won't take too long. My face is incredibly bright.
Uh,
So Team England, we've got Alex on Bridgehead, Dan on Yanari, Eldar, Danny on GSC, Josh on Orcs, Lewis on Blood Angels, Raf on World Eaters, Tom on Vanguard Tyranids, and Will on Legions of XS Slanesh. Then we've got, and then I'll just mention the other teams. But this is obviously Team England, who I'm going with. I'm just going to mention the teams that have Necrons. So we've got Team France, who have decided to take Necrons.
yeah.
How did you say his name was pronounced?
Oh no.
Oh no. And then I believe it's Team Sweden. Yep, there we go. Olaf Svensson, I want to say.
Don't know.
Um,
Can't see your screen.
you can't see it.
Oh, oh yeah. There we go. I can see it.
Yeah, Olaf
Yeah.
Svensson.
And
And
there's literally just 2 players taking
yeah,
Necrons.
there's only 2 Necron players, which I thought was. I thought it was quite interesting. I was saying to the Team England guys, I was like, get practicing to into Awakened. I think this is going to be. I think people are going to be taking this Awakened. I think it's good in a team. It's really good at blunting, but no, both of them, and I'm going to assume that they've collaborated as well because their lists are literally identical.
You
So
don't come up with this list unless you've collaborated here.
yeah, like this is a collaboration. So the list, what is it? It's Star Shatter.
Yeah. So you'll talk
It's
about Awakened Dynasty and
Yeah,
Hypercrypt.
absolutely.
It's like,
I
no,
clearly know nothing,
we're
but
sticking with Star Shatter.
like my
Wait.
Awakened has been doing work in teams, like in the practice, like it's been
Yeah.
doing really well. So yeah, it's got Imatech for the +1 command point because we all of our strats are now expensive. The Silent King, obviously, we love him. He's S tier. Get him in there. Catacomb command barge with the enhancement.
Yeah. So that's already very
Um,
greedy.
it's I think it's efficient. I think this list is a good all rounder, and
Yeah.
it has a job. You know, it just holds primary well. I'll carry on though. Hexmark with -1 damage. Technomancer, 5 Immortals to go with Imatech. 2 Cryptophrals to go with the Wraiths. Flayed ones, Ophidians, 6 Scarabs, which is not very common, but we'll tell you in a bit after I've run through it about what we think this is going to be used for. Single destroyer for backfield, I imagined. Reanimator for the race and all that jazz. Spider for the Silent King and the DDAs, and then 2 DDAs.
Yeah. I
So,
don't really know
what do
what
you
to
think of
say.
this list?
I mean, Arno is a very good player. He's not going to come up with a really bad list. We saw that last WTC where he absolutely bossed it. So I can't really say it's bad.
I think
It's
it's good.
very
I think
different.
it's a good list.
It's going to utilize the Silent King's secret +1 to wound in melee mode, I think, quite a lot.
I think it's the problem I have with the Silent King on WTC is that the buildings, the footprint is 6 inches wide, I believe. So to stand the Silent King on the back and then to move him and clear the building, you have to advance, unless you touch onto the building, so then you can be seen.
Yeah.
So he can't charge through, and he just has to always advance through. I mean, going round isn't too bad, but obviously sometimes you can't on some maps. I think it's just a good all rounder. It locks down their primary, it locks down your home and then it's got good fire support, and it's got good defense into any kind of army.
You
Mortal
don't.
wounds, got the spider, the wraiths get hit by something if they can't. I don't think Bridgehead can kill all of the wraiths in one go, like not very often.
I
So then
think
when that happens, you just heal them all, right?
it's more than 2 activations, I think, to kill the race, especially with the cryptos there. And if you've got like a res orb at the end of the phase, if before they decide to charge you, or you can always just react and move behind the terrain, and they've wasted an activation basically. It's
Yeah.
I think the spider will hang around with the Silent King, and the Silent King probably hangs around with the Doomsday Arcs to start with,
Hmm.
and they'll just try and long range strike down a flank, and they'll use his OC to hold the point, maybe.
I think
Uh,
they can play on a more open board. I think they're completely fine with that. They're fine
yeah,
playing on a heavier board. I think they're okay with just playing on whatever they want, and it's just good. I think it is a blunting list. Like it is a good all rounder. It can
yeah.
win
It's
into a
just a
lot of
list
stuff.
that'll go into anything. If it loses, it won't lose big, and if it
No.
wins, it might win big, but it probably just wins against lists people don't want to play or they have a bad matchup into.
Yeah. It
The yeah,
it's
this
still solid. I think it's just good all rounder. I think that's exactly what they're trying to take.
yeah,
And they can double up the Silent King with ignore mods and rerolls with the barge.
yeah,
I think it's. I was playing a very similar list. The 6 Scarabs though, like what? I think that it's going to be hanging around with the
yeah,
wraiths, and if there's a combat threat that's going to go for the wraiths, you just try and heroic, or it
yeah,
can body block,
yeah.
screen out whole sections of his backfield in one
You,
go.
the Wraiths will be annoying as hell to shift because they too also have a reactive move once you shoot them a little bit. So they can like scurry behind the terrain. And then, yeah, if you've got the Wraith sat on an objective and someone's charging you with a big unit, well, then you heroic with them and you base them so that they can't pile into your Wraith squad with everything, which keeps the Wraiths alive a little bit. But it also doubles up. It'll do the same with the Silent King. It'll do the same with the Doomsday Arcs. And then you're doing mortal wounds, and some armies don't like that as well. You keep it near the Spider, you keep reanimating 2d3 from the Reanimator plus the Technomancer heal, plus the Spider will just bring back a base by himself. They can be really annoying to shift. 24 wounds for 80 points is nothing to laugh at, but, they.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
want to see it in
it's good.
action because I love the Scarabs with the command badge. Like I was telling you to run 18 of them, right? So these guys obviously listened and decided to run 6 instead because 18 is a
Mm-hmm.
bit too greedy. But the fact that they can have OC2 as well,
Yeah,
OC2 Scarabs.
it's funny. It is very funny. I think it's going to be really cool to see. We're playing France round 2 on Purge, so I'm definitely going to be watching this game. And obviously next week, I'm going to give a full rundown of my experience at Pyra, and I'm going to be chatting to this lad. I'll go meet him and say hello.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, Arno, and I'm gonna go. Talk to him, and I'm just gonna after the tournament. I'm just gonna get his opinion on why he's running stuff, obviously, and then should be good to share some of this
yeah,
information because, as I've said, Team Sweden took the exact same list, so they've clearly spoken like and compare. They're probably two people that know each other well.
yeah.
Um, I think Team Sweden have 6 out of 8 players were playing on the WTC team. So they've pretty much got their WTC team going to Pyra, and they always just pull wins out of the bag. Apparently,
They got some very good players on that team.
yeah. So it's going to be really exciting to see how they do, and they've clearly decided that this list fits the role of their team the best.
Yeah,
Uh, but as I said, for our squad, our 8-man squad, there I wouldn't know what to take out. I would have liked to see Grey Knights or Necrons. Unfortunately, nobody plays Necrons that was going. So and Grey Knights, it was a choice. We kind of wanted to go for more melee because of the boards, the newer boards. So yeah, it's it's a nice list. Does a lot of stuff. Done all round, which is good. I think it definitely has its weaknesses. There's probably good melee is probably going to like do work into it. Bridgehead potentially. So I don't know if that's going to be the best thing into it, but if he makes a mistake on his play model placement, then it could definitely end bad because he's got very few assets.
yeah. What do you use to deny primary on your opponents? Like personally, I'd be using a race, I guess.
Yeah, and
But
then they just die
do they die though? That's the thing. Like
eventually.
you've got your scarabs to protect them. The scarabs can help flip objectives as well with their lower OC, with reducing the OC.
Scarab's hitting on 4s. Let's go.
Yeah, scarabs hitting on 4s with lethal hits. I mean, you don't really care what you hit on. You just need to get the lethal hits with your
Yeah,
scarabs.
you just get the
Right.
rerolls in.
Scarabs with +1 to wound, mate.
Yeah,
Why
Scarab's
not?
strength
Hit on
2.
4s, re-rolling 1s, and then you've got
Oh yeah.
+1 to wound. You can be doing some damage with your scarabs there.
Oh dear.
Uh,
He
it's,
clearly wants to spam something because he's felt the need to take him attack. So he just wants to spam the shit out of.
I mean, he's going to be spamming cycle cards a lot because he's going to struggle
Yeah. First
to.
round is Linchpin. Second
Oh,
round is Purge.
yeah.
Third round, and we're playing them on Purge
How do you know who you're playing round two?
because the draws were done A, B, C,
Right.
D. So then we were drawn fourth. So then we play the person that was drawn third first, and then second, and then
Why
third.
isn't it just Swiss?
Because there's 8 teams in 5 games.
So
And it's in pods. Because it gets like the best. Because basically, the first day you'll play your other 3 people in the pod, and then the winner of pod A, for example, will play second place in pod B, and
okay,
then it switches at the.
yeah,
It just gets like a more solid winner. I think that's the
fair
best way
enough.
they did it. So yeah, but it's a super good list. I think
Uh,
it's definitely good. It has a role for sure, but we'll see how it does over the weekend. I'm going to check with both of the guys, and also something that's quite funny about Pyra is there's a German player who I spotted when I first started playing Warhammer competitively. I'd seen his name pop up at the WTC when I was watching, and his name is Matthias Bellman. So I really need to meet this dude because he is my doppelganger, my German doppelganger,
yeah.
and all of my German friends call me Matthias. So it'd be just funny to meet him. So
So you need to get a selfie with your.
I will. I'm gonna get a picture with him.
What was he playing?
He's playing Eldar.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he's playing Eldar.
So just you from the future, right?
Yeah, apparently he's the best player, one of the best players in Germany. So I said we have a lot in common, but I was lying.
Nice, nice man.
Yeah, humble as ever.
So okay, so why do you
Yeah.
think we don't have many Necrons then? If like I know we're not an army that you put out there to get 20 O's and praise on particular lists because we don't have excessive mobility or excessive damage output like a lot of armies do, and we do have the durability to be annoying. So we're the kind of army that goes out there just to get small loss, like
Well, that's
nine
what I mean. I think
9 point
it's a
loss or a
mistake.
small wins.
I think it's a mistake. Like Eldar is incredibly popular.
Yeah,
It's in every list. Everybody's taking Eldar. Space Marines are good, and we do have a game into Space Marines still,
yeah.
depending on the build. And there's only a couple of things we struggle into, which we can kind of negate by not pairing into it.
But
I'm
then
I'm honestly surprised that people haven't taken
it's
Necrons.
6 out of the 8 teams haven't taken it.
Yeah, I honestly I sound like a broken record, but I think Awakened is in an 8. I would take it in an 8.
Like at the ITT, there was over 50 players out of 140 teams.
Since I've been playing all these games, I think that Necrons is really strong. Apparently, it's very popular in the UK, Necrons, compared to other places, but
It is,
I
yes.
think I think Awakened just has the right tools for this meta, and I think it's super good, really, really good. Like what actually in the meta at the moment deals with 20 warriors? Like Eldar doesn't. Nids GSC can definitely.
GSC absolutely.
Guards struggle. Like they can do it, but
Their hot shot volley gun Scion unit with
they
rapid
kill
fire,
they
will kill
kill
quite a
they
few.
kill 16 on average,
Yeah,
which
so killing
is
16 is good because you just.
yeah, yeah. But it depends how you play them. And again, I play them on WTC, but I literally left like I put 4 out in the open, and I just sat and did nothing. And I just like held 2, and was like, right, not going to play the game till your turn 3's gone. But I put warriors out in the open, and he had to come down to kill them, and he could only kill 4, so he couldn't shoot anything else at them. And and it's just if he fucks it up, then I will just get a big swing. And if I fuck up, I don't even lose that many resources. I don't lose that much. I lose a warrior squad, but I can still hit back without the warriors being there. So it was just they are good into it. I think so. But yeah, GSC, some Space Marine builds, but again, there's not that much that can actually kill that brick, and the characters and them standing back up, and you having loan up on Zeraz, which forces your opponent out, so they have to come closer to you, which means that obviously the score pests then get into the game. It's just really really good.
In theory, it's amazing, yes.
Yeah, I mean I've tested it and played it a lot, and it's done well like every game.
But
It
the
keeps every game close, even when it's a loss.
the nations of Pyra disagree with us. They all think that
Maybe I'm just
they're
ahead of the
better
curve.
armies. Maybe they're just better armies and fulfill that role.
Maybe that but we could be ahead of the curve.
We'll find out, I guess. We'll
Yeah,
see how we do.
we'll see how they get on.
Yeah,
It's looking very interesting.
you wanted to talk about your Manchester list,
I did, so I will.
which is
So I pretty
Manchester's
much
next month. So you're a little bit
2 weeks away. It's 2 weeks away.
next month.
It's literally next week.
Next month.
Yes, next week.
Next month.
Uh, yes, next month. So this is the list I've submitted. I just need to have a couple more games just to confirm. There's a couple of little changes I might make, which I'll run through. So my list is Awakened, obviously. My list is Hypocrite. Going on about all that Awakened stuff. So got Hexmark. He's in the list because Rapid Ingress is amazing. Having another lone op to stand next to Zeraz is amazing. And this is my WTC list. So like my WTC board list. So that the open's a lot more closed off. Open. But it's closed off in UKTC. So having a lone op that can stand in behind a crate next to Zeraz is really helpful. But anyway, Rapid Ingress Hexmark, amazing. We love Hexmarks. Zeraz,
Yeah,
disgusting. In like buffs the warriors.
yeah,
AP0 or AP1 that doesn't ignore cover going into warriors means they're on a 3-up save, which is incredible. Their guns become AP2. They are just awesome. He's just amazing. Very like the best unit in the army.
yeah,
One of anyway. Locust Lord with Veil of Darkness. He's giving my 3 emetics, sustain 5s, pick up once per game. It's just amazing into Guard, Eldar, etc., etc.
yeah.
And
Even
GST
demons, even demons.
demons, and it just kills whatever you want, like
Yeah,
chaff. Orican for the 4-up invuln, and his amazing once per game where he becomes strength 12, 6 attacks, and every wound is D3 dev wounds. Amazing. So this is this is where we hit the point of where I'm thinking of something, which option I want to take. I've got Overlord of the Translocation Shroud, which lets you 6-inch auto advance and move over models and stuff. And he's got stealth enhancement. So it's between, and he gives a free strat. The strats are really good. Means I can res the warriors for free when they get shot. Do all the other cool strats. Give them assault and stuff. So they have like a
yeah.
consistent threat range of 23 inches.
Or they could even
But
have AP1 in melee.
yeah, and they get the AP1 in melee from AP2 because of Zeraz as well.
It doesn't stack.
It does not stack.
It does not stack,
Okay, I didn't know
unfortunately.
that. Didn't know
Yeah,
that. Yeah, but it's between him for all the strats and stuff, or a Royal Warden, so I can actually fall back
yeah.
and do stuff. But like the point of the unit isn't to shoot stuff that much. It's just to tie things up and go in on the primary. That's why I'm taking it, and it's just hard to kill.
Thing is, you still want to shoot stuff with it because they still have a good number of attacks. So the Royal
Yeah, I
Warden
mean,
certainly helps
it's
there.
just
Plus, Battle
it's just
Shock.
so hard to decide. Yeah, it's just the choice between the two is really difficult
Yeah,
because then I feel like I have to take Imatech because it's extremely CP hungry.
yeah.
But I need to test. I need to test again. Triple Scorpeth Lord because
Scroll
this
down,
is
scroll down, scroll down.
we're on Scorpeth Lord. I've got it.
Scroll down
Why?
so we can see.
What do you mean? I've already on the Scorpeth Lord.
Are you sure? I
Yeah.
can just see Overlord here.
Yeah, yours is lagging then. Triple Scorpeth Lord runs with the 4-up Fiona Pain, and they're just amazing, really good in combat. When they hit that 6 for mortal wounds, it's just such a high. Ghost Arc, 20 warriors. Ghost Arcs just to Ghost Zerar starts in the Ghost Arc, so it gives him a little bit of extra movement at the start of the game, and it just helps res the warriors more. Reanimator to sit with the warriors as well. It just makes this massive, unkillable brick of warriors that reses like 9 wounds on average after the first activation into them, and then at the end of the phase, it's another D6 plus D3, and you can re-roll all of this. So really good. Do double DDA because needs shooting, need to keep people honest, can't just let them walk wherever they want. Flayed ones to stop infiltrate or to infiltrate, to stop scout. Single destroyer for the home, triple emetic, and then double Scorpeth. So the 4-up Field of Pain Scorpeth Lord's by himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, spent a while kind of cultivating this list, testing a lot of stuff. I was running Wraiths initially, but they just die to Eldar so easily. They just die to a lot of stuff. It's a very hard brick to kill, but when your opponent actually can put stuff into it, also the Wraith brick, when it goes to do something, like you can't get away from dodge, if you know what I mean. Like warriors kind of like string out and then they just touch stuff, and then when your opponent kills a bunch of them, they just like fucking disappear, and then they go back to base. And then they just respawn again back where the characters are. Whereas wraiths, you start losing 2, 3, 4 wraiths, and then you're like, yeah, my unit's just gone now. It's just I'm never getting this back to full strength. Yeah, so that's why I swapped over.
Fair enough. I would love to have a monolith in there, so if they did get tagged, you could just pull them out of combat. And there's an argument to running crypto thralls in that
I
block
just
as
can't
well.
find the
Just
points.
yeah, it's
It's
hard. I
just
mean, if you did swap the Royal Warden for the Overlord, you're losing a res orb as well as a melee threat to get yourself out of melee once you're in melee. Which, when you've got Orican there, especially on his first swing, you kind of want to make sure you kill what you're attacking. And then, where else do you find the points for him attack?
so I
Well,
originally I cut Hexmark and then the Overlord, and then that let me fit in a Royal Warden and Imitek.
yeah, I mean, you kind of are missing the Ophidians. Like, if you start getting behind enemy lines turn 4,
That's what I mean.
you're not really getting there with this list.
No.
So you want to be cycling cards, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have to. I just save up CP. Like the main stratagems I use is res character, res warriors,
Yeah,
but the res warriors is usually free. So that means I'm just
yeah.
using res character, and then once per game, probably I'm doing the reroll all hits on the emetics because they will probably die whatever after they've shot whatever they've shot.
Well, after the veil, usually, isn't it? They come
That's
down,
what I mean. Yeah, they come
they see what
down,
they want, and
they fucking delete something, and then they die. But the threat of them is just worth it in its own right.
yeah, that 20 points. Like, I've taken the veil on the Lord so many times and never used it throughout the entire game because my opponent is just like, early on when I wanted to use it, they've screened, and later on I don't need to use it. But the fact that I paid 20 points for them to do that is, it's worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Even if late game it's just the Lord by himself with the veil, well, he could just run off and do established locusts in their turn.
yeah. And I was unsure if I wanted to give him the res orb
Right.
or the 5-up Field no Pain because I always find the unit just dies as soon as it gets shot. So I'm like, well, at least it gives him some more survivability. So I did think I had the
Nah, I think you want the
red
res orb.
thing. Do you think so?
Yeah, because a lot of armies go chip damage away. If you've got Illuminator Seros stood in front of you and the Warrior Block and the Scorpex and the DDAs, they may not want to shoot the Amnitics particularly hard. They might just go, well, I'll put a couple of weapons in there. At least that res orb gives you the chance. And
A lot of people see him as like an immediate threat where if I show him, they will get just
yeah,
absolutely dunked on.
yeah,
I played a game against Tactical Orcs. It was my first ever game, and I I was in to win basically, but I allowed him to get an angle with um, a truck moving out and flash gits just fucking picked up the full unit.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that I let that happen, but yeah, stuff just kills it. In the right matchups, you need to keep it safe, and then in some games where you are able to move them around a bit more freely, you can advance them and shoot with a strat, and then you get to obviously re-roll the advance. So
Yeah.
they do move like a consistent 12-ish.
I think a lot of people forget you can also just shoot them from 36 inches.
Yeah, which is what I did in the Eldar game against Ed just today. Is I just um, can position them at 36 away and try and grab some angles because UKTC does let you.
They'll still take out a decent number of Eldar guards, even at 36 inches. So you don't need to get the full volley because quite often the full volley is a bit overkill anyway into these small MSU units.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm happy with the list, but this is probably what I'm submitting.
Nice.
Have you got any tournaments? Have you? What? Also, I know you've always got Manchester coming up. Have you decided what you're going to submit?
No. So Sunday this week, my team has. I don't know what the word is here. We've taken
Organize like
over
a practice day, haven't you?
part of our local game store and gone right. How many spare tables have you got left? Right, we're having them all, and I think there's about 20 of us going down just to get in a few practice games, try some stuff. I'm going to try and get a game against Eldar. I will probably try your list or something similar because I'm also a big fan of Awakened Dynasty, but I like to have a bit more shooting in mine than you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I stick Sarah's out or the scoreboard out and they shoot out, they come out with some shooting, I want to be able to punish them for that a bit more than requiring them to get a lot closer. So, my list probably, if I do take the Warriors, I'll probably cut something along, something else just to get another DDA in or some solo destroyers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to try Hyperlist as well because I still like Hyper, and I think having mobility against armies like Eldar is vitally important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Tesseract Vault is extremely good into Eldar.
Like you've got Guard as well, who want to kind of pin you in early Kazakin movement, and then they bring in the sounds. So being able to get out of a pin is important. Being able to move around and avoid Chaos Demon um, melee is also pretty good. So it's got some good play into a lot of the more popular top performing lists. So I'm going to have another play on that, see if I can find a list that I like. Because, like I say, I tried Ophidian Destroyers and I actually tried Praetorians as well, and they underperformed too. They just didn't kill anything when they got into melee for the same
Yeah,
reasons.
don't like them.
So they're not as threatening. I'm really going to miss the Nightbringer. I think when it comes to threatening in melee, it might just be a case of take a little less shooting and just take a couple of Catans.
Mm-hmm.
Because Catans are really nice into Chaos Demons, especially because they can't gambit into you because Catan will just kill most of their stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm going
yeah.
to have a big play around with that on Sunday, and then probably about 11:58 submit a list.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna have enough time to. I get one. I'm not even gonna have enough time to practice anything else actually because I've got a practice game tomorrow, but I'm using one of the I'm using the Pyra list so they can get a game in against that.
The Necron one.
Yeah, so I'm not even gonna be able to try Royal Ward, and I should have actually tried it tonight really.
Hey,
But
you might even like that list.
what, the Pyra one?
Yeah.
No, I'm done with Starshine.
Oh, and another reason I probably don't want to play your list is because I'd have to pay a Ghost Ark, an Overlord, Orican. I'm not sure I can be
Got
bothered
my
doing.
Ghost Arc right here, mid paint.
Yeah,
Bit dark at the moment, and then I've already got an old Oracle, so
nice.
boom, old Oracle. But I do have a new one right here as well, ready to go.
Yeah.
Just ready for on the painting table. So all I need to do is the Ghost Arc is battle ready, so doesn't matter if I don't finish it, but I probably will. And then I've already got an Oracle ready, but just in case, so I'm not in any rush. I'm pretty sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty good. And is there anything else that we want to talk about today?
I don't think so.
I think we've done a
I think
pretty
we've
good job.
probably. It has been a pretty quiet week for Necrons in terms of
Yeah.
things that have been going on.
It's going to be a lot more of an exciting episode after I get back from Pyra, and we'll be able to chat about that, and then potentially lists should be visible Tuesday. So probably look through some lists and chat about that, like see what people are taking to Manchester.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a bit more of an exciting episode next week, I think, and because we've both just been super busy, so when we get a chance, we'll do some more bonus stuff as well, and we're looking to do kind of an introduction to deployment and what we're looking for and why we take certain units in their roles and stuff like that, and we'll get it a bit more organized and planned out so we can show a
Yeah.
deployment, right?
I mean, I so far we've got 178 players signed up for Manchester. The list sign-ups have been available for a day, so I would expect nearly 300 people. So
Mm-hmm.
how many of them do you think are going to be taking Necrons?
Because of at the moment, I'm gonna say like 30.
Yeah, I would have
Or
guessed. I'm going to go 24.
if you said 29, that's very cheeky.
No, I
The
think
price is right guessing.
yes. Go under. Never.
Yeah. So yeah, but we're going to be doing some more stuff. It's going to be a bit more exciting next week.
Yeah,
I've just been super busy trying to do this bloody Pyra stuff. So yeah, we'll
yeah.
let everybody know. And if you guys see either of us at Manchester, come say hello.
Yes. Tell us
And
why we're so wrong with everything that we say.
yeah, tell us why Ophidians are good and obelisks are bad and
Oh,
everything in between.
speaking of obelisks, on the obelisk watch, I remember I said I had a friend who was taking an obelisk alongside a Vault, a Monolith, a Silent King to a GT.
Mm-hmm.
Started off 2-1 after day one. Unfortunately, sad times, he ended up 2-3.
Oh,
Very disappointing. He was disappointed. The games were close. The obelisk was great.
obelisk is great. You
Yeah.
heard it here.
If anyone's got an obelisk they want to sell me on the cheap, let me know. I'd like to get one, get it painted up, and take it to a tournament because I still think it's strong.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you everyone for watching. Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, all that cool stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.